Well, hey, good evening. Welcome back to my little gardening show. Tonight I wanted to take you along as I'm pulling some potatoes from the bins here for dinner tonight. I'm going to make some vegetable beef soup. I'm going to have some potatoes in it. So I just wanted to show you the setup and just kind of how things are going as far as the potato storage this year. To give you a little background, I've not been a real successful potato farmer per se. We've tried growing potatoes before, just didn't really, do very well for a variety of reasons. I think probably the two biggest reasons is that the ground wasn't loose enough and the wasn't as fertile enough, and not enough nutrients to grow them. At least that's what I'm thinking, because this year I did this past year the Mittleider gardening method, and we used raised berms to grow the potatoes with a lot of success. We planted 20 pounds of seed potatoes and it was around 226 pounds of potatoes that we weighed, and there were a couple other harvests, digging into the beds and pulling potatoes out that we didn't weigh. So between 226 and 250, I would say, is probably the return. So we did really well, really happy with that. But the challenge was that we harvested our potatoes around mid to end of July, middle of July, somewhere in there. So it's been about 4.5, 5 months, and they've been in storage. We've got them in the cubby down here in the basement, and we've got them stored in these school book crates we got at Walmart, like $3 a piece. And then we had some Georgia peach boxes that worked out real well. 2 of those that we put potatoes in. We started out by sorting and trying to get most of the smaller potatoes out, because they're the ones that are going to go to seed and go bad first, get soft and all that. So we tried to get most of those out, for fresh eating, or for eating first initially. And we do eat a lot of potatoes. Anywhere between 5 to 10 pounds a week, depending. I've got a larger family, 5 kids, wife. We have people over all the time. So anyway, tried to do that, and the larger ones put in storage. The way we stored them was we just used newspaper and put a layer of newspaper down. This is all kind of watered up because the kids have been coming down here to get potatoes, but layer of newspaper down, then we put the potatoes, another layer of newspaper, more potatoes, so on and so forth, till it was full. We did that on everything we've got here, but the problem we're running into now is that, the temperature is probably not quite cool enough down in this crawl space, or this kind of side storage to the basement. I mean, it is cool. We've not really been heating this area. It's probably about 55 degrees if I had to guess. Probably be handy to have like a little thermometer or something to measure the temperature. But they've been down here since probably the beginning of August, and gone through some temperature changes and stuff. And what we're running into is that, and it's mostly the red potatoes, but they're starting to sprout. They're going to seed. So this box is filled with the smaller potatoes, because we didn't have room upstairs to get all of them. But look at that. Look at the sprout on that. And again, it's mostly the reds. You go through here, there's a little bitty red potato. You look at that. The smaller Yukon Golds and Kennebecks, they're sprouting too, just a little bit. And they look a lot like what the seed potatoes did this past spring, when I bought seed potatoes and I had them down in the basement in the bags. We opened them up when we were getting ready to actually plant them, and a lot of them already had giant sprouts like this. So we're going to try to use what we can, but some of these will probably end up pitching. Same with the larger crates. Same story. My reds are the ones that just are wanting to break out. The Kennebecks and Yukon Golds, not as much. We got another crate there's a lot of potatoes, or more potatoes in the Netherlands. A mixture of stuff here. So as you can see, we've done a pretty good job eating these potatoes down. I've probably got about 50 pounds left, if I had to guess. But overall, really happy with the result. I mean, it's the end of December. You know, we're going into January here pretty soon. We'll probably run out of potatoes in January, if I had to guess. Probably end of January, beginning of February is when we would run out. So that kind of gives me a good idea of, like, you know, in terms of growing potatoes, what I would need to do next year. You know, I'd probably need to do one more row. I did 3 50-foot rows of potatoes, planted 20 pounds of seed potatoes. So I'd probably need to do probably 25 pounds if I wanted to have enough potatoes to last me to spring. But overall, really happy with the results. The storage has gone pretty well. No complaints there. If any of you guys out there have grown potatoes and stored them, if you got any tips on maybe what I could do to extend the storage, the shelf life of these before they sprout like they are now, feel free to post a comment or send me a message or whatever. And we'll kind of go from there. So, the next thing that I need to do is you know, kind of plan out the garden next year and what I want to grow and figure all that stuff out. And Tom, you know, over there at Frugal Prepper, if you're watching, you know, maybe we could correspond if you want to, you know, anything that you're wanting to grow in your garden. I know you do mostly tomatoes and peppers. I'd be more than happy to start seeds for you and whatnot. I've got a decent little grow room. We grow all kinds of stuff. It'd be kind of fun to swap plants or do whatever. So anyway, kind of go from there. I guess that's it for now. Until next time, happy gardening. Bye.